I am that. Talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. Chapter 73. The death of the mind is the birth of wisdom. You may die 100 deaths without a break in the mental turmoil, or you may keep your body and die only in the mind. The death of the mind is the birth of wisdom. Questioner. Before one can realize one's true nature, doesn't one need to be a person? Does not the ego have its value? Maharaj. The person is of a little use. It is deeply involved in its own affairs and is completely ignorant of its true being. Unless the witnessing consciousness begins to play on the person and it becomes the object of observation rather than the subject, realization is not feasible. It is the witness that makes realization desirable and attainable. Questioner. There comes a point in a person's life when it becomes the witness. Maharaj. Oh no, the person by itself will not become the witness. It is like expecting a cold candle to start burning in the course of time. The person can stay in the darkness of ignorance forever unless the flame of awareness touches it. Questioner. Who lights the candle? Maharaj. The Guru. His words, his presence. In India, it is very often the mantra. Once the candle is lit, the flame will consume the candle. Questioner. Why is the mantra so effective? Maharaj. Constant repetition of the mantra is something the person does not do for one's own sake. The beneficiary is not the person, just like the candle, which does not increase by burning. Questioner. Can the person become aware of itself by itself? Maharaj. Yes, it happens sometimes as a result of much suffering. The Guru wants to save you the endless pain. Such is his grace. Even when there is no discoverable outer Guru, there is always the Satguru, the inner Guru, who directs and helps from within. The words outer and inner are relative to the body only. In reality, all is one. The outer being merely a projection of the inner. Awareness comes as if from a higher dimension. Questioner. Before the spark is lit and after, what is the difference? Maharaj. Before the spark is lit, there is no witness to perceive the difference. The person may be conscious but is not aware of being conscious. It is completely identified with what it thinks and feels and experiences. The darkness that it is in is of its own creation. When the darkness is questioned, it dissolves. The desire to question is planted by the Guru. In other words, the difference between the person and the witness is as between not knowing and knowing oneself. The world seen in consciousness is to be of the nature of consciousness when there is harmony, sattva. But when activity and passivity, rajas and tamas, appear, they obscure and distort, and you see the false as real. Questioner. What can the person do to prepare itself for the coming of the Guru? Maharaj. The very desire to be ready means that the Guru has come and the flame is lit. It may be a stray word or a page in a book. The Guru's grace works mysteriously. Questioner. Is there no such thing as self-preparation? We hear so much about yoga sadhana. Maharaj. It is not the person that is doing sadhana. The person is in unrest and resistant to the very end. It is the witness that works on the person, on the totality of its illusions, past, present, and future. Questioner: how can we know that what you say is true? While it is self-contained and free from inner contradictions, how can we know that it is not a product of a fertile imagination, nurtured by and enriched by constant repetition? Maharaj: the proof of the truth lies in its effect on the listener. Questioner: words can have a most powerful effect. By hearing or repeating words, one can experience various kinds of trances. The listener's experiences may be induced and cannot be considered to be a proof. Maharaj: the effect need not necessarily be an experience. It can be a change in character, in motivation, in relationship to people and one's self. Trances and visions induced by words, drugs, or any other sensory or mental means are temporary and inconclusive. The truth of what is said here is immovable and everlasting, and the proof of it is in the listener, in the deep and permanent change in his entire being. It is not something he can doubt unless he doubts his own existence, which is unthinkable. When my experience becomes your own experience also, what better proof do you want? Questioner: the experiencer is the proof of his experience. Maharaj: quite. But the experiencer needs no proof. I am, and I know I am. You cannot ask for further proofs. Questioner: can there be true knowledge of things? Maharaj: relatively, yes. Absolutely, there are no things. To know that nothing is true knowledge. Questioner: what is the link between the relative and the absolute? Maharaj: they are identical. Questioner: from which point of view are they identical? Maharaj: when the words are spoken, there is silence. When the relative is over, the absolute remains. The silence before the words were spoken, is it different from the silence that come after? The silence is one, and without it, the words could not have been heard. It is always there, at the back of the words. Shift your attention from words to silence, and you will hear it. The mind craves experience, the memory of which it takes for knowledge. The jnani is beyond all experience, and his memory is empty of the past. He is entirely unrelated to anything in particular. But the mind craves for formulations and definitions, always eager to squeeze reality into a verbal shape. Of everything it wants an idea. For without ideas, the mind is not. Reality is essentially one, but the mind will not leave it alone and deals instead with the unreal. And yet, that is all the mind can do, to discover the unreal as unreal. Questioner: and seeing the real as real? Maharaj: there is no such state as seeing the real. Who is to see what? You can only be the real, which you are anyhow. The problem is only mental. Abandon false ideas, that is all. There is no need of true ideas. There aren't any. Questioner: why then are we encouraged to seek the real? Maharaj, the mind must have a purpose to encourage it to free itself from the unreal. It is promised something in return. In reality, there is no need of purpose. Being free from the false is good in itself. It wants no reward. It is just like being clean. It is its own reward. Questioner, is not self-knowledge the reward? Maharaj, the reward of self-knowledge is freedom from the personal self. You cannot know the knower, for you are the knower. In fact, the fact of knowing proves the knower. You need no other proof. The knower of the known is not knowable. Just like the light is known in colors only, so is the knower known in knowledge. Questioner, is the knower an inference only? Maharaj, you know your body, mind, and feelings. Are you an inference only? Questioner, I am an inference to others, but not to myself. Maharaj, so am I. An inference to you, but not to myself. I know myself by being myself, as you know yourself to be a man by being one. You do not keep on reminding yourself that you are a man. It is only when your humanity is questioned that you assert it. Similarly, I know that I am all. I do not need to keep on repeating, I am all, I am all. Only when you take me to be particular, a person, I protest. As you are, a man all the time, so I am what I am all the time. Whatever you are changelessly, that you are beyond all doubt. Questioner, when I ask how you know that you are a jnani, you answer, I find no desire in me. Is this not a proof? Maharaj, were I full of desires, I would have still been what I am. Questioner, myself, full of desires, and you, full of desires, what difference would there be? Maharaj, you identify yourself with your desires and become their slave. To me, desires are things among other things, mere clouds in the mental sky. I do not feel compelled to act on them. Questioner, the knower and his knowledge, are they one or two? Maharaj, they are both. The knower is the unmanifested. The known is the manifested. The known is always on the move. It changes. It has no shape of its own, no dwelling place. The knower is the immutable support of all knowledge. Each needs the other, but reality lies beyond. The jnani cannot be known because there is nobody to be known. When there is a person, you can say something about it, but when there is no self-identification with the particular, what can be said? You may tell a jnani anything. His question will always be, about whom are you talking? There is no such person. Just as you cannot say anything about the universe because it includes everything, so nothing can be said about a jnani, for he is all and yet nothing in particular. You need a hook to hang your picture on when there is no hook. On what will the picture hang? To locate a thing, you need space. To place an event, you need time. But the timeless and spaceless defies all handling. It makes everything perceivable, yet it itself is beyond perception. The mind cannot know what is beyond the mind, but the mind is known by what is beyond it. The jnani knows neither birth nor death. Existence and non-existence are the same to him. Questioner. When your body dies, you remain. Maharaj, nothing dies. The body is just imagined. There is no such thing. Questioner. Before another century will pass, you will be dead to all around you. Your body will be covered with flowers, then burnt, and the ashes scattered. That will be our experiences. Our experience. What will be yours? Maharaj, time will come to an end. This is called the Great Death. Mahamrityu. The death of time. Questioner. Does it mean that the universe and its contents will come to an end? Maharaj. The universe is your personal experience. How can it be affected? You might have been delivering a lecture for 2 hours. Where has it gone when it is over? It has emerged into silence in which the beginning, middle, and end of the lecture are all together. Time has come to a stop. It was, but is no more. The silence after a life of talking and the silence after a life of silence is the same silence. Immortality is freedom from the feeling I am. Yet it is not extinction. On the contrary, it is a state infinitely more real, aware, and happy than you can possibly think of. Only self-consciousness is no more. Questioner. Why does the great death of the mind coincide with the small death of the body? Maharaj. It does not. You may die 100 deaths without a break in the mental turmoil, or you may keep your body and die only in the mind. The death of the mind is the birth of wisdom. Questioner. The person goes and only the witness remains. Maharaj. Who remains to say, I am the witness? When there is no I am, where is the witness? In the timeless state, there is no self to take refuge in. The man who carries a parcel is anxious not to lose it. He is parcel conscious. The man who cherishes the feeling I am is self-conscious. The jnani holds on to nothing and cannot be said to be conscious, and yet he is not unconscious. He is the very heart of awareness. We call him Digambara, clothed in space, the naked one, beyond all appearance. There is no name and shape under which he may be said to exist, yet he is the only one that truly is. Questioner. I cannot grasp it. Maharaj. Who can? The mind has its limits. It is enough to bring you to the very frontiers of knowledge and make you face the immensity of the unknown. Whether to dive in is up to you. Questioner. What about the witness? Is it real or unreal? Maharaj. It is both. The last remnant of illusion, the first touch of the real. To say I am only the witness is both false and true. False because of the I am, true because of the witness. It is better to say there is witnessing. The moment you say I am, the entire universe comes into being along with its creator. Questioner. Another question. Can we visualize the person and the self as two brothers, one small and one big? The little brother is mischievous and selfish. rude and restless, while the big brother is intelligent and kind, reasonable and considerate, free from body consciousness with its desires and fears. The big brother knows the little one, but the small one is ignorant of the big one and thinks itself to be entirely on its own. The Guru comes and tells the smaller one, "You are not alone. You come from a very good family. Your brother is a very remarkable man, wise and kind, and he loves you very much. Remember him, think of him, find him, serve him, and you will become one with him." Now the question is, there are two in us, the personal and the individual, the false self and the true self, or is it only a simile? Maharaj, it is both. They appear to be two, but on investigation they are found to be one. Duality lasts as long as it is not questioned. The trinity of mind, self and spirit, Vyakti, Vyakta, Avyakta, when looked into becomes unity. These are only modes of experiencing, of attachment, of detachment, of transcendence. Questioner, your assumption that we are in a dream state makes your position unassailable. Whatever objection we raise, you just deny its validity. One cannot discuss with you. Maharaj, the desire to discuss is also a mere desire. The desire to know, to have the power, even the desire to exist are desires only. Everybody desires to be, to survive, to continue, for no one is sure of himself, but everybody is immortal. You make yourself mortal by taking yourself to be the body, by taking yourself to be the body. Questioner, since you have found your freedom, will you not give me a little of it? Maharaj, why a little? Take the whole. Take it. It is there for the taking. But you are afraid of freedom. Questioner, Swami Ramdas had to deal with a similar request. Some devotees collected around him one day and began to ask for liberation. Ramdas listened smilingly, and then suddenly he became serious and said, "You can have it, here and now. Freedom, absolute and permanent. Whoever wants it, come forward." Nobody moved. Thrice he repeated the offer. None accepted. Then he said, "The offer is withdrawn." Maharaj, attachment destroys courage. The giver is always ready to give. The taker is absent. Freedom means letting go. People just do not care to let go of everything. They do not know that the finite is the price of the infinite, as death is the price of immortality. Spiritual maturity lies in the readiness to let go of everything. The giving up is the first step, but the real giving up is in realizing that there is nothing to give up, for nothing is your own. It is like deep sleep. You do not give up your bed when you fall asleep. You just forget it. I Am That talks with Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj, Chapter 74. The truth is here and now. Instead of searching for the proof of truth, which you do not know, go through the proofs you have of what you believe to know. You will find you know nothing for sure. You trust on hearsay. To know the truth, you must pass through your own experience. Questioner, my question is, what is the proof of truth? Followers of every religion, metaphysical or political, philosophical or ethical, are convinced that theirs is the only truth, that all else is false, and they take their own unshakable conviction for the proof of truth. I am convinced, so it must be true, they said. It seems to me that no philosophy or religion, no doctrine or ideology, however complete, free from inner contradictions, and emotionally appealing, can be the proof of its own truth. They are like clothes that men put on, which vary with times and circumstances and follow the fashion trends. Now, can there be a religion or philosophy which is true and which does not depend on somebody's conviction, nor on scriptures, because they again depend on somebody's faith in them? Is there a truth which does not depend on trusting, which is not subjective? Maharaj, what about science? Questioner, science is circular. It ends where it starts, with the senses. It deals with experience, and experience is subjective. No two persons can have the same experience, though they may express it in the same words. Maharaj, you must look for truth beyond the mind. Questioner, sir, I have had enough of trances. Any drug can induce them cheaply and quickly. Even the classical samadhis caused by breathing or mental exercises are not much different. They are oxygen samadhis and carbon dioxide samadhis and self-induced samadhis caused by repetition of a formula or a chain of thought. Monotony is soporific. I cannot accept samadhi, however glorious, as a proof of truth. Maharaj, samadhi is beyond experience. It is a qualityless state. Questioner, the absence of experience is due to inattention. It reappears with attention. Closing one's eyes does not disprove light. Attributing reality to negative states will not take us far. The very negation contains an affirmation. Maharaj, in a way you are right, but don't you see that you are asking for the proof of truth without explaining what truth you have in mind and what proof will satisfy you? You can prove anything provided you trust your proof. But what will prove that your proof is true? I can easily drive you into an admission that you know only that you exist, that you are the only proof you can have of anything. But I do not identify mere existence with reality. Existence is momentary, always in time and space, while reality is changeless and all-pervading. Questioner, sir, I do not know what truth is and what can prove it. Do not throw me on my own resources. I have none. Here, you are the truth knower, not me. Maharaj, you refuse testimony as the proof of truth. The experience of others is of no use to you. You reject all inference from the concurring statements of a vast number of independent witnesses. So it is for you to tell me what is the proof that will satisfy you. What is your test of a valid proof? Questioner, honestly, I do not know what makes a proof. Maharaj, not even your own experience? Questioner, neither my experience nor even my existence. They depend on my being conscious. Maharaj, and your being conscious depends on what? Questioner. I do not know. Formerly, I would have said it depends on my body. Now I can see that my body is secondary, not primary, and cannot be considered as evidence of existence. Maharaj. I'm glad you have abandoned the I am the body idea, the main source of error and suffering. Questioner. I have abandoned it intellectually, but the sense of being, the particular, a person, is still with me. I can say I am, but what I am I cannot say. I know I exist, but I do not know what exists. Whichever way I put it, I face the unknown. Maharaj. Your very being is the real. Questioner. Surely we are not talking about the same thing. I am not some abstract being. I am a person, limited and aware of its limitations. I am a fact, but a most unsubstantial fact I am. There is nothing I can build on my momentary existence as a person. Maharaj. Your words are wiser than you are. As a person, your existence is momentary, but are you a person only? Are you a person at all? Questioner. How am I to answer? My sense of being proves only that I am. It does not prove anything which is independent of me. I am relative, both creature and creator of the relative. The absolute proof of the absolute too. What is it? Where is it? Can the mere feeling I am be the proof of reality? Maharaj. Of course not. I am and the world is are related and conditional. They are due to the tendency of the mind to project names and shapes. Questioner. Names and shapes and ideas are and convictions, but not truth. But for you, I would have accepted the relativity of everything, including truth, and learned to live by assumptions. But then I met you and hear you talking of the absolute as within my reach and also as supremely desirable. Words like peace, bliss, eternity, and immortality catch my attention as offering freedom from pain and fear. My inborn instincts, pleasure seeking and curiosity, are roused, and I begin to explore the realm you have opened. All seems most attractive, and naturally I ask, is it attainable? Is it real? Maharaj. You are like a child that says, prove that the sugar is sweet, then only I shall have it. The proof of the sweetness is in the mouth, not in the sugar. To know it is sweet, you must taste it. There is no other way. Of course, you begin by asking, is it sugar? Is it sweet? And you accept my assurance until you taste it. Only then do all doubts dissolve, and thus your knowledge becomes first-hand and unshakable. I do not ask you to believe me. Just trust me enough to begin with. Every step proves or disproves itself. You seem to want the proof of truth to precede the truth itself. And what will be the proof of the proof? You see, you are falling into regress. To cut it, you must put a stop to asking for proofs and accept, for a moment only, something as true. It does not really matter what it is. It may be God or me or your own self. In each case, you accept something or somebody unknown as true. Now, if you act on the truth you have accepted, even for a moment, very soon you will be brought to the next step. It is like climbing a tree in the dark. You can get hold of the next branch only when you are perched on the previous one. In science, it is called the experimental approach. To prove a theory, you can carry out an experiment according to the operational instructions left by those who have done the experiment before you. In spiritual searching, the chain of experiments one has to make is called yoga. Questioner. There are so many yogas, which to choose? Maharaj. Of course, every jnani will suggest the path of his own attainment as the one he knows most intimately, but most of them are very liberal and adapt their advice to the needs of the inquirer. All of the paths take you to the purification of the mind. The impure mind is opaque to truth. The pure mind is transparent. Truth can be seen through it easily and clearly. Questioner. I'm sorry, but I seem unable to convey my difficulty. I'm asking about the proof of truth, and I am being given the methods of attaining it. Assuming I follow the methods and attain some most wonderful and desirable state, how do I come to know that my state is true? Every religion begins with faith and promises some ecstasy. Is the ecstasy of the real or the product of faith? For if it is an induced state, I shall have nothing to do with it. Take Christianity that says, Jesus is your Savior. Believe and be saved from sin. When I ask a sinning Christian, how is it that he has not been saved from sin despite his faith in Christ, he answers, my faith is not perfect. Again, we are in the vicious circle. Without perfect faith, no salvation. Without salvation, no perfect faith. Hence, no salvation. Conditions are imposed which are unfulfillable, and then we are blamed for not fulfilling them. Maharaj, you do not realize that your present waking state is one of ignorance. Your question about the proof of truth is born of ignorance of reality. You are contacting your sensory and mental states in consciousness at the point of I am, while reality is not mediated, not contacted, not even experienced. You are taking duality so much for granted that you do not even notice it. While to me, variety and diversity do not create separation, you imagine reality to stand apart from names and forms, while to me, names and forms are the ever-changing expressions of reality and are not apart from it. You ask for the proof of truth, while to me, all existence is the proof. You separate existence from being and being from reality, while to me, it is all one. However much you are convinced of the truth of your waking state, you do not claim it to be permanent and changeless, as I do when I talk of mine. Yet I see no difference between us except that you are imagining things while I do not. Questioner. First, you disqualify me from asking about truth, then you accuse me of imagination. What imagination is to you, reality is to me. Maharaj, until you investigate, I am not accusing you of anything. I am only asking you to question wisely, instead of searching for the proof of truth, which you do not know. Go through the proofs you have of what you believe you know. You will find you know nothing for sure. You trust on hearsay. To know the truth, you must pass through your own experience. Questioner, I am mortally afraid of samadhis and other trances, whatever their cause. A drink, a smoke, a fever, a drug, breathing, singing, shaking, dancing, whirling, praying, sex, fasting, mantras, or some vertiginous abstraction can dislodge me from my waking state and give me some experience. Extraordinary because unfamiliar, but when the cause ceases, the effect dissolves and only a memory remains, haunting but fading. Let us give up all means and their results, for the results are bound by the means. Let us put the question anew, can truth be found? Maharaj, where is the dwelling place of truth where you could go in search of it? And how will you know that you have found it? What touchstone do you bring with you to test it? You are back at your initial question. What is the proof of truth? There must be something wrong with the question itself, for you tend to repeat it again and again. Why do you ask what the proofs of truth are? Is it not because you do not know truth firsthand, and you are afraid that you may be deceived? You imagine that truth is a thing which carries the name truth, and what is advantageous, and that is advantageous to have it, provided it is genuine. Hence, your fear of being cheated. You are shopping for truth, but you do not trust the merchants. You are afraid of forgeries and imitations. Questioner, I am not afraid of being cheated. I am afraid of cheating myself. Maharaj, but you are cheating yourself in your ignorance of your true motives. You are asking for truth, but in fact, you merely seek comfort, which you want to last forever. Now, nothing, no state of mind can last forever. In time and space, there is always a limit, because time and space themselves are limited. And in the timeless, the word forever has no meaning. The same with the proof of truth. In the realm of non-duality, everything is complete. It is its own proof, meaning and purpose. Where all is one, no supports are needed. You imagine that permanence is the proof of truth, that what lasts longer is somehow more true. Time becomes the measure of truth, and since time is in the mind, the mind becomes the arbiter and searches within itself for the proof of truth, a task altogether impossible and hopeless. Questioner, Sir, were you to say nothing is true, all is relative, I would agree with you, but you maintain there is truth, reality, perfect knowledge, and therefore I ask, what is it, and how do you know? And what will make me say, yes, Maharaj was right? Maharaj, you are holding on to the need for a proof, a testimony, an authority. You still imagine that truth needs pointing at and someone telling you, look, here's truth. It is not so. Truth is not the result of an effort, the end of a road. It is here and now. In the very longing and the very searching for it, it is nearer than the mind and the body, nearer than the sense I am. You do not see it because you look too far away from yourself, outside your innermost being. You have objectified truth and insist on your standard proofs and tests, which apply only to things and thoughts. Questioner, all I can make out from what you say is that truth is beyond me, and I'm not qualified to talk about it. Maharaj, you are not only qualified, but you are truth itself. Only you mistake the false for the true. Questioner, you seem to say, don't ask for proofs of truth, concern yourself with untruth only. Maharaj, the discovery of truth is in the discernment of the false. You can know what is not. What is, you can only be. Knowledge is relative to the known. In a way, it is the counterpart of ignorance. Where ignorance is not, where is the need of knowledge? By themselves, neither ignorance nor knowledge have being. They are only states of mind, which again is but an appearance of movement in consciousness, which is in its essence immutable. Questioner, is truth within the realm of the mind or beyond? Maharaj, it is neither, it is both. It cannot be put into words. Questioner, this is what I hear all the time. Inexpressible. Anurvachaniya. It does not make me wiser. Maharaj, it is true that it often covers sheer ignorance. The mind can operate with terms of its own making. It only cannot go beyond itself, that which is neither sensory nor mental, and yet without which neither sensory nor the mental can exist, cannot be contained in them. Do understand that the mind has its limits. To go beyond, you must consent to silence. Questioner, can we say that action is the proof of truth? It may not be verbalized, but it may be demonstrated. Maharaj, neither action nor inaction is, it is beyond both. Questioner, can a man ever say, yes, this is true, or is he limited to the denial of the false? In other words, is truth pure negation, or does a moment come when it becomes assertion? Maharaj, truth cannot be described, but it can be experienced. Questioner, experience is subjective, it cannot be shared. Your experience leaves me where I am. Maharaj, truth can be experienced, but it is not mere experience. I know it and I can convey it, but only if you are open to it. To be open means to want nothing else. Questioner, I am full of desires and fears. Does it mean that I am not eligible for truth? Maharaj, truth is not a reward for good behavior or a price for passing some tests. It cannot be brought about. It is the primary, the unborn, the ancient source of all that is. You are eligible because you are. You need not merit truth. It is your own. Just stop running away by running after it. Stand still. Be quiet. Questioner, sir, if you want the body to be still and the mind to be quiet, tell me how it's done. In self-awareness, I see the body and the mind moved by causes beyond my control. Heredity and environment dominate me absolutely. The mighty I Am, the creator of the universe, can be wiped out by a drug temporarily or a drop of poison permanently. Maharaj, again, you take yourself to be the body. Questioner, even if I dismiss this body of bones, flesh, and blood as not me, I still remain with the subtle body made up of thoughts and feelings, memories and imagination. If I dismiss these also as not me, I still remain with consciousness, which is also a kind of body. Maharaj, you are quite right. But you need not stop there. Go beyond. Neither consciousness nor the I Am at the center of it are you. Your true being is entirely unself-conscious, completely free from all self-identification with whatever it may be, gross, subtle, or transcendental. Questioner, I can imagine myself to be beyond, but what proof have I? To be, I must be somebody. Maharaj, it is the other way around. To be, you must be nobody. To think yourself to be something or somebody is death and hell. Questioner, I have read that in ancient Egypt, People were admitted to mysteries where, under the influence of drugs and incantations, they would be expelled from their bodies and could actually experience standing outside and looking at their own prostrate forms. This was intended to convince them of the reality of the after-death existence and create in them a deep concern with their ultimate destiny, which was profitable to the state and temple. The self-identification with the person owning the body remained. Maharaj, the body is made of food, as the mind is made of thoughts. See them as they are. Non-identification, when natural and spontaneous, is liberation. You need not know what you are, enough to know what you are not. What you are, you will never know, for every discovery reveals new dimensions to conquer. The unknown has no limits. Questioner, does it imply ignorance forever? Maharaj, it means that ignorance never was. Truth is in the discovery, not in the discovered. And in discovery there is no beginning and no end. Question the limits. Go beyond. Set yourself apparently impossible tasks. This is the way.